This Okay, good morning, everybody. I'd like to call to order the regular board meeting for the Gulf Coast Protection District on December 10th, 2025. We're going to start off, Coulter, with a roll call for the board.
Yes, sir. Mayor Bechtel,
Here.
Bob Mitchell,
Here.
Sally Bacco,
Here.
Larry Taylor,
Here.
Roger Gunther,
Here.
Sharon Holgan,
Here.
Lori Trewy,
Here.
Tina Peterson,
Here.
Alan Ritter,
Here.
Kirk Rockford,
Here.
Billy Combs.
Here. Oh, good. Thank you. And let's go down the line with all our guests and everybody in the room.
Good morning, Sohaib Ahmed, NKQEA.
Good morning, Brian Williams, GCPD.
Heather Betancourt, GCPD. Emily McGinty, GCPD.
Eric Potts with Friesen Nichols.
Gretchen Brown with HDR.
Good morning, Rep Blackman, Sullivan Brothers Family Companies.
Norm Kramer with Tetra Tech.
Hayden Smith with Anchor QEA. Rick Robertson, Jacobs.
Antonio Fiume, WSP.
Qazi Sadid, Half Associates.
Alex Thibodeau, Drainage District 7.
Baron Cook, Drainage District 7.
Good morning, everybody. Alan Sims, DD7.
Good morning, everybody. Don Corona, Orange County.
Toby Davis, DD7.
Sarah Purdon, Texas General Land Office.
Margaret Dubbin, Geo Consultants.
Chris Solis, GFT.
Jay Lukertz, Black and Beach.
Stephen Knox, HNTB.
Jason Fulton with GFT.
Jeff Pena with Stantec.
Shelby Wallace with Terracon.
Prasad Rajlu with Tarakan.
Samantha Heritis, Ardura.
Daryl Morrison, Ardura.
Jason Maldonado, CDM Smith.
Nick Cox, Moffett and Nickel. Larry Dunbar, Speed Center.
Brent McGuinn, General Land Office.
Tony Williams, General Land Office.
Matt Murphy, Senator Ted Cruz's office.
Good morning, everyone. Melissa Washington, Texas General Land Office.
Tony Risco, Friesen Nichols.
Stuart McAllister, U.S. Army Corps of Engineers.
Kelly Burks Copes, U.S. Army Corps of Engineers for today.
Tony Addison, you say Galveston District?
Good morning, everyone. Ismael de la Paz, Galveston District.
Sina Amini, LAN.
And Simon with Touchstone.
Thank you. Okay, we're going to drop down to item number 2, public comments. Do we have anybody that wants to address the board? Please tell us Merry Christmas or something. Nope. Oh, ho, ho. Okay. Item number 3, minutes of the previous meeting. This would be in your packet, November 12th, meeting in Bridge City. Any comments, changes, or whatever? And if not,
Motion to approve.
motion to approve by Alan.
Second.
Second by Kurt. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Item number 4, financial and bookkeeping matters, including payment of bills and review of investments. Deidre, you carrying that?
Yes. Good morning, everyone. This report is for the month of November 2025. This is the second month of our fiscal year 2026. Business as usual. There are no out of sync or against the budget expenditures for the month of November. You'll note that we did transfer over $600,000 from our Texas class account, our investment account, to cover operating expenditures for the month. Outside of that, it's the normal payroll and legal costs that you will find for the month of November. For the first 2 weeks of December, we are busy closing out the calendar year with expenditures. What you will see when you receive next month the full December report, 2 advance requests, and I'll talk more about that during the Executive Director and CFO report later on the agenda. We submitted 2 advance requests. I just received an alert that the first one was approved by GLO yesterday, and we should see those funds hit our account this week. It was for $1.1 million. In addition to that, we will be submitting this month an advance request for program management. That expenditure report and advance request details out a little bit over 3 months worth of expenditures and activity. That will be for $1.1 million as well. Outside of that, the budget to actual is reflected on page 5. Once again, we are in sync with as expected for the second month of the fiscal year. Included in your financials this month, you'll find our investment report. Our investment report details out the hours and the compliance training that your 3 investment officers have taken over the last year. 2 of your investment officers are with MAC, and I'm also an investment officer for the district. You'll also find our checking operating account balances as well as our Texas class balances for the quarter ending September 30th, 2025. I'll take any questions if there are any.
Good report. Thank you, Deidre. I'm open for a motion to approve.
Motion?
Motion by Bob,
Second.
second Sally. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Drop down to item number 5, report from Executive Director, Chief Financial Officer, and Chief Program Manager. You leading?
Yeah, I'll kick it off. It's nice to be back after 4 weeks of paternity leave, so apologies for being absent for a little while. We closed out our federal advocacy strategy this past Friday when Mayor Bechtel and I traveled to DC with Port Houston and some industry executives from the greater Houston area to meet with the senior White House officials. It was a great meeting. Just to remind folks, we started off by meeting with Assistant Secretary of Civil Works, Adam Tell, and requested $25 million in the FY 2026 work plan. We then followed that meeting up and met with OMB Director Russ Vogt, again requesting $25 million in the work plan, and we ended by meeting with a senior White House official requesting the same. So that should close out. We should find out at some point next year, early next year, spring-ish time, if we made it into the Army Corps' work plan. We are also monitoring the FY 26 Energy and Water Appropriations Bill, both from the House and the Senate. Another reminder, thanks to Randy Weber, we got $5 million in investigation funding. As long as we don't have a clean CR, we should see that as it passed the House. We are tracking the Senate. Thanks to Senator Cornyn, we have some language that asks the Army Corps to prioritize coastal Texas and work with the state on it. There's some minor language tweaks that we are monitoring and reaching out to Senate Appropriations about. And then one last thing, I requested a meeting with Speaker Johnson's appropriations staffer. Hopefully we'll be able to meet with them before the House and Senate go to conference on the appropriations bill. It's still a bit unclear if they're going to have a minibus, a smaller package of appropriations bill, and if they do, if Energy and Water makes it in there. But we're tracking that as we speak. So
Good. We're back to Deidre.
Yep. Business as usual from the financial house. We submitted our monthly progress reports as well as expenditure reports to GLO. That also includes the drainage districts DD7 and Orange County reports. Those were submitted by the last day of the month. We prepared and submitted our quarterly working kind tracker to GLO as well. That included activity and expenditures for Coastal Texas Project, Orange County, as well as Port Arthur. As I stated earlier, we submitted several advance requests this month. One was SB 1, which is from the 87th regular legislative session. That was request number 17 in the amount of $1.1 million for cost category 05 for Port Arthur S2G relocations. And then we also submitted an SB 1 87th regular legislative session advance request. It was request number 18 in the amount of $173,000. This one was for Orange County S2G. We also submitted, or will be submitting, a third request out of HB1, and that's from the 88th regular legislative session. This will be request number 7. It will be for program management cost of $1.1 million. From a staffing standpoint, we are extending offers to two candidates that we have been interviewing. One is for the community engagement specialist role that we have posted, and the other is for a government relations position that we have posted. So we will continue to keep the board apprised on the offers that have been extended and if they're accepted. So we are quickly growing in terms of personnel. Outside of that, we were responsive to Board Member Rogers' request about acronyms and getting some definitions, so you should have seen that in our report to you guys this month. Outside of that, you want to take it, Rob?
Rob?
So for
Just don't test me on that. That was great.
So Sabina Galveston will cover later in the agenda. For Coastal Texas, D28 will cover later in the agenda. We're working with both contractors on the gates and the beaches and dunes, so we should have a first task order for you guys to look at next meeting. And it'll basically be some initial planning in both of those. We completed the study with Texas A&M, so we sent them a closeout letter, so that's done. We're still working with Lake Houston, with City of Houston. They haven't set up their dredging district yet, but once that happens, there'll be some more movement there. Pending any questions?
The City of Houston, is that Lake Houston
Yes.
sand? Okay.
Yes, so that's about how can we use that sand potentially to nourish the beaches.
Right. I just want to make sure that was what you were talking about.
Yes, sir.
Originally, we started talking with the city of Houston, and then they pushed it to Houston Water.
The legislature created a dredging district, and I think the appointments are pending. So we are in touch with the mayor's office in Houston, and we are going to continue to work with them as those appointments are made.
Exactly.
Yeah, we've got recurring meetings with them.
Right.
So this may or may not be the right time to ask this question. If it's other business, then we can move it. But the piece on Channel 13 that was done the other day, did y'all see that? Where when they announced it at 6 o'clock, it was a $56 billion project. And then when they announced it at 10 o'clock, it was a multiple $billion project. The question is, did somebody get to them and ask them to change their number?
There are multiple. There are other entities that I don't know if Rob or someone else wants to take this, or the Army Corps, but there are other numbers out there as a part of requirements as ongoing assessments. But obviously, the authorization number is 34 billion.
Yeah.
My point is, it really aggravated me that they said 56 billion. But then I was real happy the next time I saw it it said multiple billion. So I'm just wondering if someone here said something. If they did, great, okay? I'm just saying I would prefer that because
We did a ton of work, and shout out to Heather for doing all this work, getting the press releases out and making sure the reporters are well informed. Obviously, reporters talk to a lot of different folks, and you can't manufacture what they say. So,
whatever, somebody contacted me at work. Thank you.
yep.
That's all I'm saying.
Got it? Okay, thank you. Drop down to item 6, report from President of the Board. Some of this you've already heard, but November 20th was with a bunch of the state legislature district directors. December 2nd, we had the SAME Sustaining Member Luncheon and participated in a panel discussion on coastal Texas there, and thanks to Lars. I didn't see Lars today. Was he here today?
He's out today.
December 3rd, we had the congressional district directors on the federal side we got to visit with. December 4th, we had a meeting, Protection District, with Sam Brody at TAMU IDRT and Rice for the Research Advisory Council that we're talking about. We'll follow that up later. December 5th, we were in Washington, D.C., and again, we had the Port of Houston there and the Greater Houston Partnership, industry and us, and good meeting there. And Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. I'll put it out there for my report. And we're going to drop down to item number 7, Sabine to Galveston matters, including A, program management update, B, Orange County project, including alignment, cultural, geotechnical, and environmental survey and rights of entry and utility relocations, and C, Orange County project phase 2 environmental site assessments. Chris, you doing that?
I don't think he mentioned D.
Hey, thanks, everybody. Good morning. And happy holidays, everybody, before I forget to say that. We've got a new slide template, courtesy of the team at GCPD. Really appreciate that. Hopefully it makes the acronyms bang a little bit more with everybody. Summary status. So a lot of effort that was done in November was focused on the Packer. Okay, and we continue to work with the district on the Packer. Getting the draft Packer complete so that we can send that forward to headquarters. And then all the things that will support the final Packer, which includes the TO12 task order for adaptability and optimization, the scope of work for the TO13 task order, which takes meets the requirement for design maturity, the 35% design that's required with the Packer. And then, of course, the draft SCIS and the final SCIS, which will be required for the Packer. We continue to work closely with the district on all these particular elements. Made significant progress on the draft Packer as far as closing out comments on the appendices. Still got some things on the main report that we're tweaking, but expect to clean that up and get that moving forward for review at SWD. On the early start projects, again, the early start projects are on hold until either we get some kind of direction from the CDA memo that's floating through headquarters right now, or later on until we get to the Packer. And we'll talk a little bit more about that as we break into this. Ross, did you want to say anything else about Packer? I know you've been leading that effort for us. So, okay, next slide, please. So, summary of activities. Again, the Packer right there at the top. Important to note that SWD did send a additional memo for the Chief's discretionary authority to headquarters for review. That went up on the 13th of November. We've not heard anything back on that yet. It's under review at headquarters, but we did have positive support through the chain as that memo went up. And then again, more Packer stuff. We're coordinating the back checks, the revisions, all the work that we've done with the district to get the draft Packer move to get the draft Packer out of the district into division at headquarters. And then again, TO12, TO13, that's the path forward for the main Packer report that'll be coming out. Other housekeeping things that we did was we cleaned up the IDR report and the integral determination report. This is critical for us so we can start submitting our work in kind. That went up to division. That's under review right now. We've also provided comments on the programmatic project management plan, and we've got some coordination to do with them to finalize those comments, and then that will be off to division for review. And then we pretty much closed out everything on task order 10, all the comments and back checks from the joint venture. Next slide, please. This is a key milestone here with meeting with the USACE Committee on Hydrology and Engineering. That's the CHE committee. We've been briefing on this for the past couple of months. We finally got the meeting with the CHE. We were able to secure consensus on the interior drainage policy and then how we're going to move forward with that. That's critical for the final packer and looking at potential residual risks that will have to be addressed in the packer. And then on the HTRW front, we did finalize the memo from our special counsel to address what we think our approach would be to the metals issue that we discovered during our investigations. Right now, we're talking with the Galveston District leadership and the legal counsel on how do we move that forward and what the path forward is on that.
What is the proposal to allow an industrial concentration level? Is that the proposal?
I mean, there's multiple layers to this.
Yeah.
The industrial piece is one aspect of the compliance piece.
Mm-hmm.
The other actually relates more to the definition of what is a regulated material or contaminant and how does it apply in these projects. So there's some multiple layers to this, but this memo is focused more on making sure that we're defining what HTRW is, what
Okay.
reporting and responsibilities are, and any obligations that may or may not exist in relation to those materials being in the ground. So we are encouraged by the fact that we are, opening this line of communication. This is an issue that's not only for the Orange County project. It's a much broader question for other projects as well. And so we're taking the lead on it and trying to make sure that we can work through the appropriate authorities inside the Corps to get buy-in so that we can get the appropriate determinations on what is or is not HTRW so that we can plot our path forward.
Do we have a timeline? You can study something forever.
So that's kind of the goal here is we're trying to process this through at I'll call it the lowest level possible inside the authority chain, because that's the quickest way to get decisions. If need be, this may need to be elevated to the headquarters level, which by its nature can elongate decision-making process. But we are pushing very hard to try and get resolution as quickly as possible, because this is not something that we want sitting, holding over our head when we don't need it to be there.
Okay. And then future work that's coming up, work in kind task orders. So there are some additional phase twos that we're going to have to do back out in the marsh. This is just to verify some of the data that we've got for the total petroleum hydrocarbons. Based on the comments we got back from the Corps of Engineers, they suggested that we go get additional data so that we could work through that. And then borough sites, still need to evaluate potential sites for borough material for this project. The estimates right now for borough material is somewhere around 8 million yards. Okay, I think we've identified through the work that the JV has done potentially 4 million. So we still got to find 4 million more yards, and we're working with some of the local landowners and Orange County Drainage District property that they own to go out there and do some initial investigation just to make sure that the material on those sites would be adequate to be used, meet the standards for levee construction. Okay. Attorney's opinion of compensability. These are the AOCs. So we talked about this last month, but just to remind everybody that basically each one of the utilities that will have to be relocated along the alignment will have to be, well, let's just say defined, okay? So the definition will include, here's the utility, exists on this parcel, it's inside this easement, this is the type of utility this is the owner of the utility, okay? And then all that data is put together, it's provided to the Corps of Engineers legal team, they review it and say, yes, this has to be removed, and it is compensable under a LERG credit to be removed, okay? It's a process that we have to go through to be able to get to the LERG credit. We are working with it's not traditional title work, although it sounds like it, but we're working with a specialty firm to bring a proposal next month to start these AOC investigations for basically the top 5 priorities that will eventually come out of the box when we begin construction, okay, or move towards construction. Executive leadership team meeting. We did have participation in the meeting. So and then we've got another meeting coming up here in January, and this is in line with the new core guidance on how they're going to start running the ELTs for federal projects. So you got the ELT, the executive leadership team meeting, which is just GCPD, Corps of Engineers. And then there's another meeting that also brings in the JV then later on that same day to have a discussion with, how does the core contractors and local sponsor and everybody else, what are the issues? So, and then on Orlencio, we're still waiting for the Corps to provide us the review comments. As soon as they get us the review comments, we'll go ahead and address comments, do the back checks, and then close that out. Corps has been backlogged a little bit with the Packer. They've been very open and transparent about that. We know Orlencio is going to go on the shelf after we complete this, so better to keep the Packer moving forward. We can get through this when the timing is right. So next slide. And then things coming up, pretty much all the things that we just talked about. The additional work that the board has already authorized, the Torrent subsurface utility investigations. We did reach out to Torrent, got confirmation from them. They're ready for us to come out there. We're working to schedule our kickoff meeting next week and get our contractors in the field working on those surveys and investigations that need to happen. And then, like I said, we'll be bringing next month to the board the proposals for the additional HTRW borings, the additional borough site evaluations, and the AOCs. So, next slide, please. So, project financials. You'll probably notice that these numbers haven't changed much, and there's a quick explanation for that. So, when I update this slide, with what we the program management team has actually invoiced to the district, okay? GFT has not invoiced the district since November because we're going through an ERP transition right now, okay? It's supposed to, if everything goes right, December the 15th, the new ERP will come online and we'll be able to begin issuing invoices, and we'll be able to update these numbers as soon as we get the invoices. But everything here is on track. Orlencio, again, we've got acceptance on the Orlencio report. We just haven't processed the final invoice. Then that will move to complete. Okay.
Can you define ERP, please?
It's an enterprise resource.
Well, tell us what it is.
Look it up.
How's that?
I
got a question. I have the question.
So the way our system is organized, every client that we have, okay, it's a client relationship manager, okay? So there's a client relationship manager that feeds into a contract we have with a client, that feeds into a project we have with a client, and all the budgets that align to that client, okay? And then that in turn, when we get invoices from our subs and whatnot, feeds back into that module, okay, that generates the invoice that we provide you all, okay? So for us, it's a financial management system, it's a contract management system, it's a client management system all in one box, okay? So
It's a process.
it is, and moving from the old system to the new system now, the new system is light years ahead of the old system. They just opened up a couple of modules earlier this week, and I tell you, it's a lot more intuitive to be able to go in and look at your data, pull reports, and do the things that you need to do than the way the old system was. So it'll be a big plus for all of us. So, but
Long story short, Bob, it's just the financial system for the company.
yeah, it's the heart of it is the financial system, but it's all these other things that tie to it.
Right.
The client management, contract management, budgets. So, yes.
I may be the only one in here, but what do you mean by back checks?
Okay, so we submit a proposal to the Corps of Engineers. Like, here's a design. Here's our 30% design. The Corps reviews the design. They make a comment. Okay. You know, this note should read this. Okay. We reply to the comment that says, we have corrected that note and it now reads
Okay, so that's
this.
back checks.
And then the Corps back checks that we responded to the comment and it's closed. Okay. So, bit of a process, but
Thank you.
yeah.
The reason the Dow levy section is a different status than Alencio is because we still have not solidified our path forward, is that correct?
Correct,
Because
that's
of
on
soil
hold.
stability? Is
Right.
that- okay.
So for Dow, again, we've got unique subsurface soil conditions out there. You know, we've looked at two different methodologies for that, deep soil mixing and the wick drains. You know, neither one, well, deep soil mixing is not a cheap process. The wick drains is not a fast process. That's potentially 12 years to get to consolidation. So the Corps is going to evaluate whether you just take the levee out and put flood wall in, whether that would be and that I haven't seen the final scope of work for TO13, but we would hope that something like that is in TO13 so that we could make those comparisons. And then if we do get a green light, we can move forward with what we need to do on Dow. Yes, sir.
If we take the levee out, can we use that somewhere else? The dirt?
It would just be less dirt for the project.
Because it has nothing right now.
Probably say it's
We
contaminated, so they
can't
don't want to
bring
use it.
No, it's not
Well, that's what I'm
contaminated.
It's kind of a joke.
It's not a joke. Please don't say stuff like that, Bob, please.
We don't need jokes.
Probably better than the dirt.
Sorry. Go on record, it was a joke.
Okay.
Next slide, please. And that's all I have, unless you have any additional questions. Well, thank you all.
Thank you, Chris.
Oh, that's,
7D, report from Jefferson County Drainage District Number 7 in regards to the Port Arthur project. Toby.
Sir, good morning, board.
Morning.
Good morning.
Okay, this first slide just shows our district and all our projects. You can see this is contract 4 here along the ship channel that we have in design build currently. And then 3A is 365 and pump station 17 and pump station 16. Okay, next slide. So this is zone 5. This is Alligator Pump Station. You can see here it's kind of grainy, but you can see from September to November, you can see this line right here are the buoys that are now no longer there, and they're strung along the shore here. And the contractor has a spud barge out there about to start working on the cofferdam now that hurricane season's over. So a lot of work happening there at Zone 5. Okay, next slide, please. This is Zone 6. This is Pump Station 17. In this picture, you can see that they are working on putting driving piles on the other side of the pump station. If you look right here, you can see that there's a concrete slab, and in the middle, you can see that those dark pieces. Those are the piles that are coming through the It's just a seal slab right there, so those piles have been driven, and the next step there is they're going to pour the foundation for that side of the fronting protection. And on the other side, they're driving piles in order to set up to do the same thing as what they've done here on this side. Next slide. This is Zone 7. This is Pump Station 18. This is Road Air. In this picture, you can see, it's kind of hard to tell, but on this side of the pump station, you can see that there's a lot of formwork and a lot of rebar. And then in this, that was September, and here in November, it's kind of hard to see, but they've poured the slab, and there's a row of rebar coming out of the middle of that slab, which will be, the next step will be pour the wall on top of that slab. It's hard to see, but on the other side, there actually is a wall already constructed, at least partial of a wall, slab and wall. We have a few other places in the little sections on that side and on this side where they still have to drive piles. But a lot of work's happening there. They're also about to start building 2 buttress wing wall type structures on the land side to basically strengthen the pump station in the event of a storm surge to keep it from prevent any overturning. So, next slide, please. This is 3A. This is 365, where they're going to build a bridge over Road Air Gully, and then land it basically on the just on the other side of our levee and take out the gates. Utility relocations are happening. We are working right now to donate the property, that 2 pieces that we own over the levee, the piece that we bought and the piece that we condemned, to get those donated to TxDOT. TxDOT and the Corps finalized a review of the design, and construction is scheduled to start sometime in early 2026. We're working with Entergy right now to get their utilities out of the way for TxDOT, and then we're also working with with AT&T and Spectrum, and as soon as those utilities are out of the way, then that project will be moved into TxDOT's let list, so to speak. So, next slide, please. PAVO 3C, this is the section along the ship channel and Motiva Tank Farm. We are currently working to acquire lands from different entities and relocate utilities. Those entities basically include Jefferson County, Lamar Port Arthur, the City of Port Arthur, and Port Arthur ISD. And there's one track from a private individual that we're working to get. We have engineers and contractors working on moving electrical and power and lights out of the way for the City of Port Arthur, and we have 2 projects moving water and sewer lines at the time. This project is planned to be awarded in November 2026, and our schedule is to have all of our work done by April 1st, and we think we're going to make it. We're working really hard towards it. So, next slide. So this is PAVO 4. This is our design build project that's currently in design/construction phase, really design right now. You can see this is just a schematic that shows what that wall will look like. This is the existing wall right here. The new wall will be built on the water side from the water, and then a top section of the wall, the existing wall, will be removed, but the whole wall will not be removed. So we are actually working with the contractor and the Corps right now, some modifications to this schematic, but that process is ongoing, but this is generally what it's going to look like. The first project is scheduled to be in construction in July of 26. We had a public meeting on November 20th with the residents that live in this area at a local church. I think we had 30 to 35 or 40, maybe 50 people there. Corps people were there, we were there, and I think that it was a positive turnout, a lot of good information, and I think people were glad just to understand what's going on. And we'll have another one before construction actually starts. We mainly did this because they're out in their backyards right now doing surveying and other types of things, and we wanted to make sure they knew what was happening and who to call. So, yes, ma'am.
What's the elevation of the top of the new wall?
It varies from 20, 21.
To 24, according to the drawing. Looks like
24?
21 to up 350%. It's like elevation 21 to 24.7 is what it looks like. And it looks like, is it being built in 2 phases? Is that what you were saying? 'Cause you
Well,
look like this.
one phase you have, and correct me if I'm wrong on this, Baron, but one phase is for the first 50 years, and the other one is for SLC 1, the other is for SLC 2.
Yep, which says future.
Right,
Okay,
right,
yep.
right.
So the initial elevation for 1 is 17.5 to 19.5 feet,
Right.
is what it looks like, with an additional 4 feet, 4 to 4.5 feet in a future phase.
Right. So the first phase is supposed to get us through sea level rise through 77, and I think the next one would be through 27, so.
Thank you.
Questions?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Toby. Number 8, coastal Texas matters including A, design of ecosystem restoration segment G28, Bolivar Peninsula and West Bay Gulf Intracoastal Waterway shoreline and island protection. Ross, you going to do that?
Yeah, just very quickly, I won't steal Sarah's thunder as we usually do. She'll give a more robust update. But importantly, we did finish closing out the 30% design review. We finished closing out the value engineering study. We continue to advance on all the various engineering, environmental, and so on actions. And the 60% deliverable should be making its way to the Corps of Engineers before Christmas. So we are on schedule and appreciate the great work of the GLO, their team, as well as the Army Corps' review team who has been with us side by side, keeping us on schedule as well. So we are on track and pushing towards that 60% before Christmas.
Thank you.
There is one other item there. There is one additional report that we have to submit and prepare. It's going to be called an engineering documentation report, which is essentially a planning document that is used to affirm design changes proposed to the project that differ from that originally put forth in the feasibility study. The GCPD team will prepare that engineering documentation report. It will be submitted along with the 90% submittal for Army Corps of Engineers review and approval. And so packaging that with the design effort should get us the necessary approvals we need to have a complete and buildable project subject to authorization and funding.
Thank you. Item 8B, discussion regarding the proposed Coastal Texas Research Council interlocal cooperation agreement. Rob, you got any comments there? Or are we gonna?
So we met with the university this week. We're continuing to coordinate. We should have for action for y'all in January or February an agreement that you can make a decision on in terms of creating a Coastal Texas Research Council, pending any questions.
Good. Okay, we'll go to item number 9, report from General Land Office. Sarah.
Good morning, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, welcome back, Coulter. Hope your paternity leave went well. Good. So yeah, I'll start with G28 just on that note, but that's pretty much the extent of the updates at the moment, just that it is, you got it anyway, it's fine, I'll have the lightning. So yeah, our 60% deliverable is ahead of schedule, is a main point there. We have consistently remained ahead of schedule, and this deliverable is consistent with that, so that's exciting. And with that, we are very excited about our coordination with GCPD on that EDR engineering documentation report. It was a requirement from the Corps, given the outcomes of the value engineering study, to validate and confirm why changes to the design are warranted, which would have been an extra task in our contract with the engineer. But you know, with having a set of Rob Thomas hands on board, it's really helpful. So we appreciate the coordination there to develop that in-house. Additionally, so for the GLO sediment survey studies, all of that data that has been retrieved from those Region 1 or offshore sediment surveys that are within the Galveston Bay region, all that data has been uploaded to GCPD, which we have confirmed that you guys have received that, so that's wonderful. kind of to piggyback on that point is just that GLO remains a dedicated partner in the beaches and dunes, and we're happy to assist in any way possible moving forward, especially with the review and analysis of that existing data. Kind of on that topic of beach nourishment, just a heads up from the GLO is that we currently have a CAP 204, that's a continuing authorities program, section 204 beach nourishment project that's happening right now in West Galveston. It's about 93,000 cubic yards of sand. It's around 11-mile road, so if you guys are in Galveston, want to see that construction happening, it's exciting.
It's very exciting, and thank you, GLO, for all of your efforts on that.
Yes,
It's
ma'am.
very encouraging. This is an area of West Galveston Beach that has the most dangerous amount of erosion that's been occurring, and so it's very encouraging to see this work going so smoothly.
Good deal. Yeah, absolutely. I think it's like 7 feet per year in that area. So, and that's a critical area too for recreation.
Have you finished the restoration on Bolivar and going up into Jefferson County through there?
The beach nourishment there? I believe so. If you're referring to McFadden, that construction has been completed. Yep. Yeah. Yeah, wonderful. So that West Galveston construction should be completed around early January 2026. So.
Not to interrupt.
No,
but
please.
I am very excited about this. We do have some drone footage of the beach renourishment activity, and I'll see if I can get a link that I can send to the board, and you can see it.
Is it near Jamaica Beach, or is it east of
No, it's just west of the seawall going
Okay,
to.
so not as far out
The
as
first
Jamaica.
segment was to
Okay.
go to 8 Mile Road, and then it will go further to 13 Mile Road.
So question is, has GCPD had any involvement in it, or is it strictly the GLO?
It's GLO and the city of Galveston and the Corps. And unfortunately, no, GCPD has had no role in it. Had timing and events been different, I would have loved for GCPD to have a role in it for the work in kind opportunity here.
The
But
point I was going to try to make is this is very exciting and people need to know about it. So how, do you have a plan on getting this out to the public? I mean, to talk about the success, I mean, if that is a big success.
Yeah, we have public news releases out that I can send to you guys if you guys want to put that up on the website to highlight it, especially as a partner on the
I'm happy
project.
to share City of Galveston's public media resource on it too.
The point I'm making, this is a regional thing. It's not just Galveston.
Yeah.
The people need to know what's going on.
Yeah, we can help.
Sure.
We can help promote it.
Sure, absolutely. I'll be in touch with Heather. Great. Moving on, just a couple more items. One more on the administrative side, just kind of piggybacking off of Deidre's updates. So yes, we had that SB1, that's the 87th legislative session, 1.1 million for DD7 relocations. That has been approved, and you guys, GCPD, should be receiving payment this Friday. Today? Okay, wonderful. Or today, that'd be wonderful too. That was the update I received. Let us know when you get it. Additionally, another SB1 87th legislative session advance request came through for Orange County design participation costs. That one has been approved by the GLO, and we're just processing payment to you guys. You guys should see that in your accounts by Monday, maybe Friday.
I'll be on the way.
And then we did receive that about 1.2 million request for OMB, that's program administration costs, and that's for the HB1 88th legislative session. That came in on the 8th of December, so we are reviewing that, but no current concerns. All right, lastly, just want to say thank you to GCPD for coordinating with GLO on those task orders, those draft task orders, as well as the research academic advisory council. We had the opportunity to provide comment and review on those. So GLO has provided some comments and general items for your awareness. So yeah, really appreciate the coordination on the front end with those efforts. And kind of with that, with these advance requests, the coordination of GCPD, the drainage districts, and being available for any calls and meetings that we take up your time with, just to ensure that we understand the basis of these advance requests. It goes through much more smoothly with y'all's cooperation. So thank you to the districts. Any questions?
Yeah, thank you to GLO and to Commissioner Buckingham for allowing us to move quickly on this work. And we couldn't have done it without her.
Yeah, I'm sure. Any questions? Sounds great. Thanks, guys.
Item number 10, report from Region 6 Flood Planning Group. Sally.
The Regional Flood Planning Group Public Engagement Committee met and came up with a proposed list of locations for public meetings as we're gathering information and trying to communicate with the public on the regional flood plan and the process now in place for updating that plan for the 2028 state flood plan. We've divided it up into north, south, east, central, and west locations. 2 in Conroe, 2 in League City, Deer Park, Pasadena, Houston, and Katy. That final list has not been established yet. The committee will meet tomorrow to approve that list and location and dates. The dates will extend over January and February. We need to have a list of the flood mitigation, evaluation, and strategies that we want to add through that process into the 2028 regional flood plan. The public engagement activity is going to include video presentation of the planning process about Region 6, the flood risk that the region faces, the identified strategies and evaluations and projects thus far, including ours. Also, there'll be some materials available for the public. I think the timing of this is going to be very fortuitous for us because tomorrow the FEMA Review Council will meet to vote on the report to President Trump on how they recommend restructuring FEMA. And there's a lot of speculation about how this will play out, the potential for reduced FEMA role. All of this brings to mind the importance of the flood mitigation infrastructure needs and importance of that construction. And most importantly, obviously, our Coastal Texas project. I am almost positive Heather has the press release drafted already. But this is going to present significant discussion on what FEMA's role will be. There's already a House bill that's favorably reported out of committee, 57-3, that's sponsored by Chairman Sam Graves from Missouri. That's obviously going to be a vehicle in the House for moving FEMA reform legislation. It hasn't been set for floor action yet, but it does have co-sponsors, 39 co-sponsors, bipartisan. So I'm really looking forward to utilizing this FEMA reform discussion as a launching pad for not only our flood planning purposes, but for our flood mitigation infrastructure, namely the Coastal Texas project. And the importance of reducing those FEMA costs through responsible and effective flood mitigation. The Public Engagement Committee will meet tomorrow. The Regional Flood Planning Group approved the technical memorandum that's used for setting the criteria for how the flood plan activity and data will be used in establishing the new plan. That is required to go to the Texas Water Development Board by January 7th. So that is moving forward as well. And March is our deadline for identifying new projects, evaluations, and studies to be submitted. So that's my report.
Sally, are all the meetings in person, or is it going to be a virtual aspect to it?
At this point, they're in person, but I'm not quite sure about the virtual piece yet. My hope, it would be an option. you know, I pressed hard. Obviously, I would have loved to have pulled everyone down to Galveston for the South meeting, but I was more concerned about, and I think the committee was more concerned about having centrally located locations within each of these segments or regions of the region. So League City seemed to be the best Galveston County centrally located
I was
area.
thinking
that
about
could
Chambers
draw the
County, you know,
most
going
people.
all the way over to Deer Park, so. pretty good haul.
Chambers County is not part of the region.
Oh, it's not
6.
part of this?
No, they're in a different region.
The FEMA reform at the federal level is to try to push it out to the states. Is that directed to Tatum? or-
Okay, there's 3 things that are the biggest concern. One, the threshold. What adjustment is going to be made to the threshold before a FEMA dollar even becomes available? If that threshold is increased, that reduces FEMA's role. The second criteria that we have to watch closely is FEMA's federal cost share. If that cost share is increased for the non-federal entity, obviously that is another mechanism for reducing FEMA's role. A block grant, at least in Chairman Graves' bill, he is focused on small disasters for block granting FEMA dollars. He's placed more emphasis on larger events by trying to streamline the reimbursement process. Now to get reimbursement, oftentimes you're going through multiple agencies that really slows that process significantly. So he's looking at streamlining that effort. There has been a lot of discussion about pushing this to the state. There's a lot of implications for Texas and for coastal communities with regards to that. That gives me a lot of heartburn, but there is a lot of discussion about formula. Like I said, Chairman Graves has looked at a formula-based grant system, at least for smaller disasters. And his bill will obviously be adjusted to take into consideration the recommendations out of the Review Council report. But let's bear in mind, the administration has had strong priorities that they've placed in restructuring FEMA, and to the degree that they can do as much as they can through administrative action, I think it's fair to assume they will.
Chairman Graves is T&I, isn't he?
Yes, he is. That's the, T&I is the committee that has jurisdiction over.
Right, so we
But-
got Babbitt's the only local we got on T&I?
At
or
this
is
point,
Weber's
yes.
no longer on T&I?
I don't think Weber's on T&I.
No, he's not. But there's a lot of FEMA that is governed by the Stafford Act, which means there's a lot that would have to be done statutorily, but I expect there'll be a lot done administratively too.
What is the cost share presently?
The cost share is a moving target to some degree. At a minimum, it's 75%, but depending upon the disaster, the severity of the damage, it could go up to 90. But this is what it gives me great angst, is when we recovered from Ike, we had 100% FEMA reimbursement. That's not going to exist anymore. The state legislature has focused a tremendous amount on property tax relief and utilizing state surplus funds to buy down ISD property taxes, which has committed the state to future dollars in that regard. So here's the thing that keeps me awake at night. If we are looking at a reduced FEMA role, we are looking at an increased commitment towards reducing property taxes via utilizing those surplus dollars. Where does that leave obviously, my greatest concern is the city of Galveston, but where does that leave regions like coastal communities impacted by hurricanes and our ability to quickly recover? This has a significant impact on, as we talk about all the time with regards to advancing the Coastal Texas project, our regional economy, our livelihoods. And there are two things happening potentially simultaneously that could work at cross purposes,
Understand.
in my view.
That's something we need to talk to some of our legislators about.
And I will say, I will add, I took a moment to participate in Congressman Weber's telephone town hall this week, just because I wanted to make an effort to thank him for his work on trying to get the community project funding request for the Coastal Texas project. But Jerry Vargas, his district director, mentioned to me that Congressman Weber is going to sign on as a co-sponsor to Weber's bill. Weber's bill is a reasonable bill. And I think...
Graves'
What did I say? Yes, I'm sorry, apologize. Chairman Graves' bill is a reasonable bill because we all know FEMA needs reform. There's no question about that. My concern is with the level of severity of some of these storms, with the frequency of some of these storms, it places communities in a lot of danger if we're looking at a reduced FEMA rule.
Understand.
Any changes to the NFIP in that?
NFIP right
Stay
now
safe?
lives on CRs. There has not been specific changes to NFIP. Right now, the real battle is just trying to get extended reauthorization of NFIP because it's very disruptive. Because if you're caught in a policy situation where on January 30th, when that CR expires, and if we go into another shutdown, one, you can't get access to a mortgage if you're trying to purchase a home, and two, it does place you in a bad position if you're trying to renew a policy. But at this point, I haven't seen a lot of significant NFIP reforms.
Okay. Thank you, Sally.
Longer than usual, but Merry Christmas.
I know when I call on you, it's going to be long.
She does go on, doesn't she?
Item number 11, employment matters. We're going to talk into the executive session on some of that? Okay, we're going to drop down to item number 12. Schedule a location for next meeting. The best thing I can tell you, it's going to be in Gemini, but I can't tell you the date. But we got a number of conflicts there, and we need to get that out as soon as we can to everybody. So everybody stay tuned on the actual date where it's going to be. It's not going to be, or it may end up being the second Wednesday, right?
Right.
So just stay tuned. We'll get it back to you. Item number 13, convene executive session pursuant to section 551071 Texas Government Code to consult with attorneys, and that's going to be some of the stuff from item 5, I believe, and 8B is going to be under 551071. Okay, and number 11, employment matters, would probably fit under 551074.
Correct.
Is that correct? Okay, and you want to give me a time?
Over 071 at 11:18.
Okay.